At 5:35 in the morning, on a pedestrian street that still feels half asleep, a sanitation worker stands still with one hand on the broom handle. The work is familiar. Sweep the edge of the curb. Gather the dust. Pull the cart forward a few feet. But this morning, the body is doing something it has done 1,000 times, and the inside is not quiet. Why can a uniform that most people barely notice still hold a person's dignity? This may be the quiet pride of wearing something society has learned to look past. And today, we can slow down and look at why that pride often arrives so softly, almost without announcing itself. A uniform like that can look simple from far away. A shirt, pants, shoes worn down at the heel. Maybe a reflective strip catching the early light. But for the person wearing it, the uniform is not only fabric. It carries hours, weather, tired hands, early alarms, silent streets, and the kind of work that disappears as soon as it is done. Dignity in this kind of uniform is not loud. It is not the kind of pride that waits for applause. It is more like a small, steady feeling that says, I was here before most people arrived. I helped make the morning possible, even if no one saw it. One common reason is that invisible work often becomes part of a person's inner record. When the street is clean by sunrise, people may assume it was always that way, as if order simply appeared on its own. The worker knows better, because the body remembers every push of the broom, every heavy bag, every corner where dust kept returning. So even when the world walks past without a glance, the uniform holds proof that the work was real. That proof matters, especially when the job itself is built around leaving no trace. The cleaner the street looks, the easier it is for others to forget the hands behind it. That can create a strange feeling. The better the work is done, the less visible the worker becomes. A person can feel proud and erased at the same time. Sometimes, it comes from carrying respect inward because it is not always given outward. A person in a uniform like this may notice how quickly eyes move away, how conversations lower, how people make space for the cart without really seeing the person pushing it. Over time, the worker may learn not to wait for every stranger to understand the value of the role. So the pride becomes quieter, more private, like folding the damp shirt carefully at the end of the day even when no one will praise it. This does not mean the indifference stops mattering. It can still sting when someone steps around the person as if they are part of the street furniture. It can still feel heavy when the uniform makes the worker useful but not fully seen. But the inner respect becomes a way of staying whole inside a world that often respects clean spaces more than the people who clean them. There's also a quieter reason. The uniform can become a container for endurance. Not dramatic endurance. Just the ordinary kind that happens when the alarm rings before daylight, when the back is already sore, when the hands feel rough before the day has really begun. The uniform says, this is the role I step into, even when I'm tired, and that can give the body a small sense of shape. Like buttoning the shirt, pulling on the gloves, and entering the morning before the city asks who made it livable. And then there is the contradiction that sits underneath it all. The same uniform that makes the worker recognizable can also make them easier to ignore. People may see the color of the shirt before they see the face. They may see the job before they imagine the person's home, history, jokes, worries, or small private hopes. So dignity has to live in a complicated place, inside a uniform that identifies the work, while also risking the person being reduced to that work. That is why the moment at 5:35 matters. The street is open and quiet. The construction site nearby has finally gone still, but the ears still remember the machines. The air carries the smell of metal, cement dust, and leftover heat trapped in the pavement. The shirt is still damp with sweat from earlier work. The hands sting a little, especially near the fingers, and the lower back feels like it is holding the weight of a whole day that somehow started before sunrise. The worker stops for a few seconds, not because anyone told them to. Not because something dramatic happened. The broom is resting against one shoulder. A few small leaves are gathered near the curb. A plastic cup rolls once in the breeze and taps softly against the wheel of the cart. And in that pause, something tightens inside. It is not shame exactly. It is not simple sadness either. It is the strange feeling of knowing the work matters while knowing many people will never treat it that way. The street will soon fill with walkers, tourists, office workers, coffee cups, phones held up for pictures. Some will step over the cleaned place without wondering who cleared it. Some will pass close enough to smell the damp uniform and still not look up. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what quiet dignity can feel like when it has no audience. It does not arrive as a speech. It may arrive as a person straightening the sleeve, wiping one hand on the side of the pants, and going back to the broom even while something inside feels bruised. There is pride there, but it is not smooth. It is pride mixed with tiredness, pride mixed with being unseen, pride mixed with the old question, does anyone understand what this takes? A lot of people know a smaller version of this feeling. Maybe not through a sanitation uniform, but through any role that keeps things running while staying in the background. The caregiver who changes the sheets before anyone visits. The dishwasher in the back of a restaurant while people praise the meal. The night shift worker who leaves as others arrive fresh. The person who sets up chairs, clears the floor, locks the door, then disappears from the story. The common thread is not the job title. It is the feeling of giving effort to a world that benefits from it quietly. One gentle way to hold that moment is to separate being overlooked from being unworthy. Those two feelings can blur together when they happen often. A person walks past without seeing you, and the mind may turn that into a larger message about your place. But the fact that someone fails to notice the work does not measure the worth of the worker. It only shows the limit of their attention in that moment. A small sentence can help make that difference clearer. Something like, "This work was real before anyone noticed it." Not as a slogan. Not as a performance. Just a plain sentence to place between the outside world and the inside self. It gives the person a bit of room, so society's lack of attention does not become the whole story. Another small thing is noticing the evidence before taking the uniform off. The dust on the shoes. The damp collar. The sore hand. The cart that is lighter than it was before. These are not glamorous signs, but they are honest ones. They say a body was used in service of something visible, useful, and shared. For someone whose work disappears quickly, these traces can become a quiet record. I was here. I carried this. I left something better behind. This is not about pretending the world is fair. It is not about turning hard labor into something pretty so nobody has to look at the cost. A sore back is still a sore back. Rough treatment still matters. Low respect still leaves a mark. But there is a difference between the world failing to honor a person and the person having no honor. That difference can be small, but it is not empty. Because sometimes dignity is not found when society finally claps. Sometimes it is found in the minute before the crowd arrives, when the street is still quiet, and the person in the ignored uniform knows what they have already carried. The uniform may be stained. It may be damp. It may be passed by without a second thought. But inside it is a life with memory, effort, and a kind of pride that has learned to stand without an audience. This is for the people who keep the morning clean before the morning knows their name. And maybe that is the quiet reason a uniform can hold dignity even when society looks past it. Not because the work is easy. Not because being ignored feels fine. But because the person wearing it knows something many others miss. Some of the most necessary work in the world happens before anyone thinks to say thank you.